Hey everyone, welcome back to Disabled Investor Channel. Thought I'd just come on. Had a live session a couple of Saturdays ago, and it was pretty good. Had a lively discussion with a couple of viewers, and just thought I'd come on and see if I can answer any questions anybody has about the Registered Disability Savings Plan or investing with a low income. I'm not a financial advisor, not a licensed analyst or any of that stuff. I'm just a guy on the internet with some experience and the ability to grow an account, and thought I'd share. Anyways, we got our first commenter. Hello, Schizo. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Oh, got my dog visiting. Come on, Finley. Finley, stop. Come, come. It's okay, bud. It's okay. So it's been quite the week. I'm up $10,000 since last Friday. Hope everybody else is doing well. How was your week, Schizo? Sorry, Skizov's life. I'm sorry. Thought I'd share a watch list that I put together for um, what I'm watching right now. A couple of new space stocks that I learned of thanks to Felix and friends. I'm still in the process of going through them and deciding whether they're worthwhile getting into, but um, it seems to me that it's worth looking at. Ah, Skizov's life. Well, you'll get there eventually, Skizov. Um, it just takes time and patience. I mean, I've been at it for 14 years, so don't feel bad. I made a lot of mistakes. Hi, Minnie. How you doing? So, Skizov, you're gonna get there. It just takes time. It just takes time. I was working for a period of time during my accumulation as well. So I was fortunate enough to have a job for a few months, anyways, working for Coca-Cola as a shelf stalker. You know, pulling around those heavy skids of pop and putting it on the shelves at Walmarts and No Frills and places like that. While I had my license before I lost it to low vision. So I was able to sock away a fair bit of money during that time, but then I ran into hard times and had to withdraw. So, it was a positive and a negative at the same time. My point is, don't feel too bad if you're not where you'd like to be yet. You'll get there. Minnie says, good start, 10 years plus. It also depends on your risk tolerance, absolutely, and how much you've deposited. Yes, absolutely. Um, we don't all come from the same place, but I think a great equalizer now is the Canada Disability Benefit. If you're lucky enough to receive the full $200, that is an opportunity to deposit $200 into your RDSP if you're able to do that. The $200 turns into, what is it, 800 if you're getting the full three times 300%. But there's no reason you can't use that if you are unencumbered and you have the ability to use that $200. Minnie on cam says, wait, when you took money out, was it the RDSP? Did you have to pay anything back? It's not like you have to pay it back out of what you take out. It's automatically taken out of your account. So you do have to pay back, but man, does it hurt. Because you pay back three times, $3 for every dollar you withdraw. And it is repaid, but it's not like it comes out of your end, it comes out of the account. And it hurts. Hope you never have to do a withdrawal because it sucks. There's no pleasant way to put it. Hope you haven't had to. I heard of somebody through a comment on one of my videos who has a client. So I take it this was a financial advisor or some kind of finance guru advising a client who said that their client withdrew money against advice and was kind of shocked at how much it cost them to withdraw. Minnie says her plan is to withdraw when she's 65. Yeah, that's or 60. Yes, that that is the ultimate goal. But I gotta tell you, I mean, if I hit my full $1 million goal well ahead of schedule, I mean, if that were to happen, I think I would exit the ODSP program sooner. Because it wouldn't feel right having $1 million in an RDSP and being on ODSP. That would just feel wrong. Um, and I would pay back the $90,000 and just live my life, you know. Um, but I've run it by AI, and they say that's a bad idea. So maybe just taking lifetime disability assistance payments, LDAPs, would be the way to go at that point, because you could draw a little bit out of $1 million without really hurting the balance, and exit ODSP and keep your RDSP. That's what the AI suggested, anyways. But a good plan to wait until you're 60. Minnie says ODSP exempts it unlimited amount. So RDSP ride the wave until the last minute. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would do that. You're right, Schizo's life. $1 million in Canadian dollars isn't much these days. Just imagine by 2050 the inflation. You're right. I calculated at one point what I would need to live comfortably with $100,000 a year. I mean, in today's dollars, by the time I'm 60. And I think at the time to get that, I would need about $4 million in the bank. Because the rule is 4% of what you need or something like that. I forget. Minnie says, Schizo's life, you are not taking it all out of at once. Some of it will be growing. You're right. If you're in some decent yielding investments, I mean, you're going to be getting about 7 or 8% per year minimum in good years, right? Or in good years, you'd get even more than that, I would imagine. But yeah, it's something. Finley's visiting me. Hey, bud, do you want out of the room? Mm-hmm. So what's everybody invested in these days? Minnie says, and I have other investment accounts, so I have taken withdrawals from all of them, and the first home savings account is to buy my home. Right on. I'm trying to max out my contribution room in my RDSP before worrying about anything else, because I have the ability to contribute so much before I exhaust my carry forward amount. So that's why I'm not worried about the first home savings account yet. But I do use my tax-free savings account regularly as a place where I sweep additional money into from my checking account every month. So, if I have a good month and I don't spend all my money, I put what's remaining in the tax-free savings account from there. First home savings account sounds interesting, but I've heard that there's some pretty steep penalties if you have to withdraw anything early from that as well. Are you familiar with that, Minnie? Oh, Minnie says 2025 disability tax credit expired. So you're using your other accounts until you can. I got it. 15 years to buy your home or roll over into the RSP. Okay. It'd be nice if they'd allow you to roll it into your RDSP because you got that 200,000 lifetime limit for deposits. Skizov's Life says, whenever I calculate, I convert from CAD to USD just to truly understand how I'm doing. Yeah, I hear you. I didn't feel like I had $100,000 in my account until I had over 140 because that's equivalent to 100,000 US, and that's what Charlie Munger always talked about being the real bitch to accomplish was the $100,000, the first 100. Minnie says that would mean the charities would have to pay to propose smart ideas to the government. Too many times, charities propose ideas that are not good financial sense. What do you mean, Minnie? I haven't been following what the charity's been proposing, but I wish they would push on government to exempt the first home account for people with this. Oh, I see what you mean. So for ODSP to exempt the first home savings account, that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? It really would. I mean, we're allowed to own a principal residence. How are you supposed to get that if you're not allowed to save the money to buy it? I guess they're counting on us to inherit our homes. Either that or be renters for life, which there's nothing wrong with being a renter. Minnie says, right now, charities, they are asking for a home buyer plan out of the RDSP disability account instead of asking for exemptions on existing accounts. Yeah, that makes sense. I laugh because I wrote many of them long long letters complaining. But do they ever listen? I don't know. Right now, I'm looking at volunteering with the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. I'm considering helping out with their social media management if they'll have me. Um, and I don't know what their management is like. They seem to be a pretty decent charity, but their advocacy goes beyond. It goes beyond financial matters. They try to advocate for employment for blind and low vision Canadians. They say, Minnie says, make sure to get paid well and not low honorariums. They're offering, for this particular position, it's 4 hours a week initially, and then up to 8 hours a week during peak campaign times. They said they were offering a $500 honorarium. I don't think that's enough for what they're asking for, but it is voluntary. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I don't want to leave them in the lurch if they are asking for too much, but I'm looking into it. I take it you've had some experience with honorariums. Minnie says yes, and we probably need to do a coffee tea chat about all of it. Yeah, we should set that up again. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. It was a good chat we had before. Skizov says, so date night. Well, we can definitely swap notes. I think there's we've each learned a lot on our journeys about living on a low income, and there's lots to learn. On the screen right now, I've got my current watch list. If anybody's interested, this is a list of some newer things that I'm watching. I learned about them through Felix and Friends, which is another YouTuber, financier, former investment banker, who's suggested a few speculative plays in the space sector. I haven't really researched them yet, but they're on my radar. Yes, our summer live stream is still getting good views. Next time I guest on my channel. Yeah, I gotta learn how to do that. I'll have to get you to send me the link for the website we used. I've heard Riverside is good, but I don't know about that or just using Zoom or what. I've been wanting to expand the channel from just me as a talking head to doing chats. I'd like to get some experts on this channel who actually have education in the finance realm and aren't trying to sell us something. You know what I mean? But yeah, for the audience, it was summer 2025. We had our live stream. Yes. It was Restream. Right. It was Restream or there is StreamYard. Both have free accounts. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Right now, I'm using something called OBS Studio to capture my screen and um, share the screen. It works okay. My computer, thankfully, is fast enough to handle this, but I wouldn't mind trying something new. OBS has an option for guests using Ninja Video and closed captions. Oh, cool. I haven't tried that. I got a lot to learn. It's enough for me to keep up with just doing the daily updates, and I'm having sort of mixed feelings about continuing doing the daily updates. I don't get a lot of views on them, but it's part of the narrative of showing the story from beginning to end of growing this account to $1 million. I think I may switch to just doing shorts for the daily updates, because it can be overwhelming keeping track of it all, you know. But I wouldn't mind learning how to use OBS better, because I could probably use Zoom with OBS. Minnie says it will increase like a hockey stick. The fans watch all the videos. Yeah, I do have some that watch everything. Um, the average video gets like 10 to 20 views. But there are some that are outsized, like some that have received 17,000 views in shorts. Schizo Life says, anyway, I'm out. Big fan of the live streams. Keep on keeping on. See you. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Schizo's Life. Schizo's Life, it was nice having you. Thank you. And yeah, any questions about RDSPs or investing on a low income? You know, I'm not an advisor, but I can tell you what's worked for me. And that's part of the point of this live stream today, is just sharing what's worked and what hasn't. And keep on keeping on, Skizov's Life. Yeah, that's right. Now we should plan another live stream, Minnie. You're right. You're right. It's just the two of us talking, investing with an RDSP. With ODSP on a personal journey. Yeah, you're right. It is just the two of us. And I think you said there was another guy that was talking ODSP. I forget the name, but another guy with a channel that he's got a few thousand followers or something like that, a few thousand subscribers. Just talking ODSP issues, but it's mostly like faceless talk, I think. Headless videos, if I'm not mistaken. There's a blind guy who travels that I have recently learned about. I think that's his channel, actually, Blind Guy Travels. And he's fully blind, and he travels the world and records it. His AI clone in the videos. That's kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of over AI clones, and there's AIs everywhere. I think sometimes there's too much AI, if you know what I mean. I use it regularly, but I like some genuine, authentic content here and there. But everybody's got their shtick. Hey, buddy. So what's new and exciting, Minnie? Yes, there are lots of disabled content creators, and lots of specialties, lots of niches, I guess you could say. The big thing is not get wrapped up into who with disability is not investing or don't think they can lift themselves out of pocket. I got trapped into a debate this week. Oh, how did that happen? There are lots of people that think that, we're supposed to be helpless for being on disability. I posted an update in a Facebook group and they hated me, calling me ableist. What's that about? There's a thing in the disabled community of tearing each other down that I've noticed. Um, I try to stay out of it, but there is a real problem with internalized ableism, I guess. People thinking, others are more or less disabled than they are, or I don't know. Minnie says, I knew you would understand. Yeah, I get you. I get you. It's not right. But we've got to lead the pack and, show an example of that it is possible to grow even though we got a little bit of money. I mean, you've got your income from your business. I don't have a business right now, so I don't have any business income. I'm considering doing something to assist those of us on fixed incomes with in regards to a piece of an app that I'm working on. Um, but that's what I'm doing, and I don't expect it to make a lot of money anytime soon. My real focus is just on what I'm doing with the investments and growing that way and sharing what's worked and what hasn't, and you know. On screen right now is my list of current holdings in my RDSP. For anyone who's interested, I do publish a list, um, spreadsheet of everything that I got, but I also track everything through Yahoo Finance for a better look at what I have. Most of my portfolio is made up of leaps, which are long long call options. Not a lot of ODSP slash RDSP investors use options. I've learned through uh, research that it's not common. Um, I learned about options through another YouTuber and watching a guy named Henry. His channel is Invest with Henry, and there are strategies that I can't do because it's a registered account, but um, those long options have enabled me to grow my account faster than it would have had I just held stock. But it's not without its risks, and it's not great. Sometimes there are some real massive drawdown days. Like I had a $9,300 loss um, recently, a couple weeks ago, and that's always not fun when it happens. Biggest holding right now in terms of um, number of shares is Quantum Emotion, followed by XEQT, which is a broadly diversified ETF. Minnie says, plus financial literacy needs to be more common for people with disabilities. Yes, I agree. Uh, Many think you need to have $1 million to invest. Yeah, that's true. Uh, we have to break down the limiting beliefs. Yes, I agree. I agree. You know, and I think it starts with small things. I mean, the RDSP is open so that those of us with disabilities can access it, you know, and you've learned that having the disability tax credit is critical for that. But there's no reason that anybody can't start with a tax-free savings account. Um, Minnie says, "How did I get my investor's mindset?" I guess I'm an entrepreneur by uh, lifestyle. Like before I became more disabled, I was born blind in one side, but before I became more disabled, I was always trying to grow my own business. And with when things got difficult with my disability or disabilities, uh, I started looking at this registered disability savings plan as a way to kind of own businesses without being in business. Um, Minnie says, yes, mine partial exempt under ODSP with a life insurance. Yes, you use a segregated fund, um, but it's not a do-it-yourself account. It is more dollar cost averaging. Got it. And there's mixed opinions on using insurance as an investment. I know that some of the finance gurus don't like it. Many says yes, own the business without operating the business. investing is the way. You're right. With the disability, I have trouble sometimes with some days. I've recently learned that I am on the autism spectrum. So um, that plus ADHD, I guess, gives me a bit of an advantage with this. Um, they might not like it, but ODSP has that. I know it is exempt. Gotcha. So it's a loophole that you use. I'm looking at it that my tax-free savings account has a cap on it of $40,000. That's that's the highest I could make it. But I would feel silly to have a TFSA that large when I can get the matching bonuses by using my RDSP. ADHD has hyper focused, or we lose interest. Yes. Segregated fund limit is $100,000. That's interesting. I saw that the limit for trust funds is $100,000 as well, and that's something that is going to impact a whole generation of people on ODSP when our parents start, unfortunately, passing and leaving Henson trusts and trusts to our generation. It is one or both of 100,000. Gotcha. So it would seem that there's what would be great is to actually talk to a caseworker in a live stream who is versed on all the rules with ODSP. Um, Probably would never get the approval from ministry to do that, but that's what's needed is someone to actually come on and clarify everything for the community. Both is total of $100,000 fund plus segregated fund. Gotcha. There are retired caseworkers floating around, but they don't know all things. Yeah, I found that some caseworkers just exist to make life difficult. They seem to enjoy it. Um, Almost like there's a quota to get people off of ODSP. Um, I mean, I accessed the self-employment benefit 2 years ago. I was going to start making dog food, and I got everything set up and then learned that I couldn't advertise it on Facebook because other people with dog food businesses were reporting my content. And anyways, it made it too much of a hassle to even try. But I got a new caseworker who demands that I send them a income report every month, which is ridiculous because I haven't made any money from this business. You're right. They are waiting for their pensions, a lot of them. And I can't blame them. Can you imagine how depressing that job must be? I mean, read my post. Just joined in. What's your top stocks? On screen right now, I should have up my watch list by order of um, number of shares. I'll sort it for you by the balance. Let's see. I'll bring up my my sheet. This is accessible to anyone who's interested. It is a spreadsheet with all of my holdings in it. And currently, AST Space Mobile is one of my largest holdings after an equity ETF called XEQT. But I'm not an advisor. I'm just sharing what I'm doing, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I report the business at $0 every month. I did hear on about the Finfluencer thing being cracked down on, which is why I'm always saying I'm not an advisor. Um, I think as long as we're providing financial education and we're not advising on what stocks to buy, which I never do, I just say this is what I got. Um, you know, that's my understanding of the line is not giving advice, which I'm not in any position to give any advice. I can say what's worked for me and what hasn't. That's about it. What do you take from the rules, Minnie? We also do not control the results of the portfolio on our personal journey. You're right. We have no control. I mean, it seems to depend on what mood the president wakes up in sometimes for what happens on the markets. Boy, it's really rainy. Yeah, we have no control over what people do with the information we share. Um, Not to say that I don't, you know, I don't care. I do care. Um, but if I tell people about something that I'm into and they buy at the top, it's, I can't help that. Well, the same, Minnie says, well, the same, I have my disclaimer slide. I read out, my results are my work ethic, episodic disability, my capacity, and if I'm staying up until 6 a.m. Yeah, gotcha. Sometimes it's really hard to sleep with certain disabilities. I can relate. I wake up most mornings about 4 a.m. Um, I go back to bed, but I'm up. I'm wide awake every morning at 4 a.m. Don't know why. Minnie says I used to work answering the phone, registering people for the financial courses in 2008. Oh God, that was a good year to be in financial business, wasn't it? With the global financial crisis. Um, it's good you kept the knowledge. It's really good. There's so much to learn. That's something I like about it. The business. Hi, Kevin. How you doing? Yeah, it's a rainy day. Can hear the rain hitting the window. It's quite the day. Hope you're having a good one. On screen right now, I have my list of what I'm invested in. Just for anybody who's interested, the link it should be in the description of this video, and it's free for anybody to take a look. I'm not recommending anything. I'm just saying what I'm into, and it changes when I change my holdings. I always update this. Kevin says, let's see. Yeah, me and Tigger are doing well. Kevin, you had some kind of surgery, I believe you said. If I'm thinking of the right guy. Hope you're doing well. What is the Certified Financial Counselor program, Minnie? Right, knee surgery. That sucks. Hope you're doing better. Having some kind of credential would be great, Minnie. You're right. It would maybe open some doors for a career. I I'd like to find something to do that is earning money outside of this disability pension because it really sucks. Um, I'm grateful for it. Don't get me wrong, but you know, life is bigger than having a disability. William, the president of it, is awesome and very inclusive, Minnie says. That's for the financial counselor credential. What is a financial counselor? What do you do in that? Is that like credit counseling or? Minnie says I might need my glasses. I definitely need my glasses. I can't do anything without them. I can barely see with them. Did anybody catch the Starship launch yesterday? Yeah, I didn't want to say anything, Minnie. Kevin asks, what are the deltas I look for in leaps? I generally target a 70 delta. Um, Sometimes a little higher if I want deeper in the money, but I don't usually go any lower than that because I've learned that I want more certainty than buying a lottery ticket, if you know what I mean. Um, it's kind of hard to predict though with the more volatile stocks, like with the space stuff. Um, I bought Rocket Lab at $20 strike price a few years ago, and it was deep in the money. I ended up exercising the option and taking the shares. and did some more research, and the AI that a tool that I used suggested that it's more capital efficient to use leaps instead of holding the shares. So I ended up selling the shares at a massive profit, um, like 4 times, and going back to leaps. So currently I hold a Rocket Lab leap at $100 strike price, and it doesn't expire until uh, January 2028. So it's going to be deep in the money by the time that comes, hopefully. But it's so volatile. Who knows? You know, right now it's higher than 70 delta. Minnie says certified financial counselor designation is with Canadian Association of Financial Empowerment. I post their link in chat, but their website has all the job postings. Looks doable. Interesting. Well, thank you. I will check that out. Um, certified financial counselor. Interesting. My thing is I don't want to sell product for a bank or broker or what have you. I don't want to sell a product to people. I want to, if I'm going to do something, I want to do something that's actually helpful. Um, you know, honestly helpful, not, sort of helpful, if you know what I mean. Not to say that people at banks aren't helpful. It's just they're helping in the way that the bank wants them to help in many cases. That is that not selling products, education, and you might help people manage their debt repayments. Gotcha. Interesting. Well, if it's helping people, I mean that's good. Managing debt is certainly something that a lot of people are going to be doing right now. Hmm. Some financial advisors do help you in a holistic way. I've met a few who are teachers and not salespeople. Interesting. That's the kind that I'd want to be. I mean, if I was to go to school over again and get education in something other than marketing, I would probably want to know how to provide financial planning as a fee-based planner, not a commission-based advisor. Minnie says 37,000 Canadians filed bankruptcy, which is wild. When? When was that statistic from, Minnie? There are many 2-year financial diploma programs. I'm always looking at what's available at my local community college, which is Georgian, and they don't offer much in the financial space other than accounting, which is not really what I want to do. Um, it was recent. The news was talking about this month. Interesting. The qualified associate financial planner could be an option. It could be. Could be. Yeah, I'll look into that. I mean, the beauty is there's so much available online. Um, I don't have to actually attend the school physically. You might take it online with Athabasca University. Yeah, Athabasca. That's the one out of Alberta, isn't it? Hmm. I don't know why I'm always checking the calendar at Georgian College. I liked going to school. Um, it might be a little more difficult now to navigate with the low vision, but um, still wouldn't mind going back. I can't even read my own writing anymore. It's gotten really bad. Not that I ever could read my own writing. It was pretty bad before it got bad, but it got worse with the low vision. I guess students these days don't actually use handwriting. I guess they would use iPads and laptops, things like that. Last time I was in school was for a web design program, and I guess I could tap into that and use it to do accessibility uh, evaluations of websites and things like that. But I don't know. Without being able to design them, I'm not as interested. Minnie says I still handwrite my notes. It is how I know I'm having MS symptoms. I'm sorry. So you judge by your handwriting whether you're having an episode or not, I would imagine. Um, Minnie says it is very clear based on how clear is my handwriting. Gotcha. So that's how you can tell if you're having issues, I guess. Hmm. Friday was a good day for a lot of people on the markets. I'm one of them. Fortunate enough to be up about 10 since last Friday. But Minnie says since legal aid is always in need of this ODSP cases. Oh, the only thing at Georgian that could be interesting is paralegal. Yeah, paralegal could be interesting. I was always told I should be a lawyer. I don't think it was a compliment. I mean, my dad was a cop, so, lawyers were not regarded with the highest sentiment sometimes. But we got a good friend of the family who's a lawyer, estate and trust guy. Legal aid is always in need with ODSP cases. No kidding. There always seems to be a fight over something with ODSP. I think, I don't know, the next big thing is going to be arranging wills and trusts for people that, the boomers are aging and there's going to be that big transition. It's going to be a sad time for a lot of people. You're right. many on ODSP need a will, and paralegal could make them. I've been looking at a company called Willful to do my will. Um, they want $130 to do a will, which seems reasonable from what I understand. My parents, the last time they had theirs made was like 10 years ago, and it cost them $600 or $700 each to have a will drawn up. So, and that was by a lawyer. So, paralegal could probably do it cheaper, and the online tools are even cheaper than that. My concern is, how does it get executed if you've just done it online and you haven't filed it? I don't understand how it works, I guess is my thing. But it's worth looking into. Minnie says I would go with Legal Shield as a membership service. Yes, I remember them. Ah, for business and personal. Gotcha. Minnie says you need the executor to find it or hire a professional executor to be the power of attorney. Interesting. A lot to think about. I mean, I'm getting to the point. I mean, my portfolio is growing to the point where I'm thinking about this because my brother is someone who I've named in an informal codicil about who's gonna get the money if something happens to me. Um, my brother has an intellectual disability, so I've got him in mind. But at the same time, that would hurt his ODSP if he suddenly got $200,000. That would be not great for him to manage. Minnie says, and you need someone filing that last tax return too. Yeah, a lot to think about. A lot to think about, and um, I don't know. Maybe a trust company is the way to go. My portfolio isn't large enough to worry about that yet, but it may get there before time runs out. You just never know. Minnie says, 100,000 would go into the trust for your brother. Then 100,000 would be spent on his disability related expenses and paying for his care. Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. Um, I worry about him because of his disability. I worry about how he might spend the money. Um, I'd want to put it in a trust of some kind so it doesn't get blown all at once. Because his thing would be, he likes buying a game system brand new and then selling it and then buying another game system. A couple of years ago he went through, I think, something like 3 or 4 different game systems in a row, and it's really costly to do that. Um, I don't know why I care. I'd be dead, so it wouldn't matter to me. But you know, um, I wouldn't want him to suffer um, by having his ODSP cut off. Minnie says, and from the trust and life insurance can pay out $10,000 exempt. You need a person who can execute the trust or hire a professional. Yeah, I may have to do that. I may have to go the professional route at some point. You just never know. I mean, it's a new set of problems to have. Minnie says financial concierge is an option, or there are lawyers who take over being your trust fund executor. Interesting. I defined it. Had to find it being single with no children. Yeah, that's the situation I'm going to be in. I'll probably be reliant on extended family member, or I don't know. I do like the idea of hiring somebody so that it's independent and arm's length, and there's no worry about you know um, improprieties of any kind. Um, and I don't think I would need to worry about that with any of my family members, but you never know. People come on hard times sometimes, and shit happens, right? Minnie says, and there is, then there is building a new friend group that could do it. Yeah, and nobody expects an executor to do everything for free either. I mean, there is a provision for giving an executor uh, some kind of per diem or something for doing things. Um, Professional executor and power of attorney service. Interesting. Yeah, I got some more learning to do for sure. Um, with I got kidney disease going on, so that in itself is a bit of a life shortener. Not necessarily, but if the kidney disease progresses, it can be a life threatening thing. So it's something I got to look into. Is you know I don't want the government deciding who gets the money. Minnie says they have a whole certification for it. They are regulated. Yeah, I imagine they need to be. Minnie says for your homework, certified executor advisor network. Interesting. Is that something that you're using? Is a certified executor, or are you going to use a friend? Have you decided? There are family, cousins, and my brother, but they might not remember. So hiring a pro is the main plan to make sure what I need is done. Gotcha. I guess you have to be concerned. I mean, MS is one of those tricky ones that you can be incapacitated. Is that correct? Like you could be unable to verbalize what you want, if I'm not mistaken. That's another interesting problem to have, right? MS is different for everyone. I've never been well since my relapse. It is not ALS. I could live a decent long life. Well, it's good. But you never know. I could get a new diagnosis. I hope you don't. Hope things stabilize for you and you're okay. I mean, as okay as can be, right? That's what I'm hoping for with my nephrologist, kidney doctor, is that things are stable. But the last kidney numbers weren't so great, so I don't know. Oh, good. You got new insurance? So you got critical illness. So will that take over? Like, how does that work? You've got an existing condition. Do they just exempt anything related to MS? Because I always figured I've already got the diabetes and the kidney disease. I always figured that critical illness was kind of pointless for me because I've already got the critical illness. It's just going to get worse, and it's all related to diabetes. Ah, so anything new. That makes sense. Yeah, there needs to be better education about what is needed. Although, I don't know. I guess my opinion of it is I don't know why I would need that when I have ODSP, which, you know, covers all my essentials right now. I guess a new critical illness would be expensive. I mean, he says ODSP is not 100%. You're right. I mean, there's a lot they don't cover. Um, I just look at every nickel that I have and think it needs a job. Not all of my MS is covered. That's not right. Although my sister-in-law has type 2 diabetes and she doesn't get all of her diabetes meds covered by uh, the um, ODSP either. Um, she's got type 2 and is a kidney transplant recipient, and still they won't cover iron pills, which are necessary for kidney patients. A lot of us with kidney disease have really bad um, anemia and vitamin D deficiency and all sorts of things. Minnie says, so I'm over ODSP not covering 100%, not giving me a livable income. Yeah, they don't do that for anybody. That's for sure. And if I get a new diagnosis or need to manage my existing ones, it is not covered. That's not right. Plus, for this sacrifice of keeping my assets below $40,000. Yeah, that's another thing. Although for most on ODSP, that's not a concern, I guess. Um, I do have another viewer subscriber who has an interesting problem where he's gonna inherit or not inherit. He's gonna be given like $50,000 from someone who owes him the money and has the money, and he's concerned about getting that and how to transfer that into the RDSP because if it hits his account, does that mean he's disqualified for ODSP? I said, geez, I don't know. I would talk to your worker, but that's an interesting problem to have is exceeding your $40,000 cap. I guess. Yeah, you're right, Manny. It needs to be discussed with ODSP. You don't want to get in trouble by you know trying to sneak it because they will find out and then you get in trouble. And that's no good for anybody. I would hate to get kicked off of ODSP for some reason before being ready to be kicked off of ODSP. Manny says the month it lands, he is not on ODSP. ODSP gives him permission to transfer funds to the RDSP or segregated funds. Gotcha. Or he needs to keep 1 month of living expenses until the transfer is finished and he's below 40,000 again. I guess that's one way to do it. I guess another way to do it is to break it up. Get two $25,000 transfers. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Get $25,000 one month and do the transfer, and then 25. I don't know. I mean, it's not income; it's money that's owed. So, but I've been in that position of having my income exceed what was allowed when I was working for Coke, and that really sucked because I was reporting my income, but ODSP said they never received the pay stubs that I was faxing to them, faxing like paper receipts, faxing the pay stubs to them every 2 weeks. They claim they never got them, so they said I had an overpayment and docked me a full month and took several months to pay it back. But you know, yeah, faxing they can lose it. I think I think it was filed under G for garbage, but it came with a header page and a report and everything, and still, anyways, this is going back like 10 years, but I'll never forget that I worked and I was prepared to get docked for the income that I was receiving, but I wasn't prepared to lose a full month's disability check. You used to send things 3 times to the ODSP: fax, email. This was before they had the email available. 10 years ago, as I recall, they didn't provide an email address. Um, and I guess I'm old school. I always thought paper was more hard to ignore, but I was wrong. Government workers are good at ignoring a lot of things, it seems. Mm, fax and drop off a copy with a stamp. Oh man, going to the ODSP office is always an adventure, isn't it? You gotta bring your nose plugs usually. That's not to be rude. It's just smelly. Not to be mean. Hey, buddy. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but things have a way of working out. You know. Yeah, I wish I had. Kevin, you're right. Keep receipts from fax. Yeah. I like that everything's done by email these days. It makes it so that I have copies of what's been sent. Um, but they do have a job to do and their predisposition is believing that everybody's trying to screw the system. So I guess you got to look at it from their perspective. But man, Minnie says I print off what I send in my benefits and save a copy. It's not a bad idea. I got you. Print to PDF. Yeah, you can save a lot of stuff as PDFs, right? And then search it later if you need to. I save a lot of stuff to my Google Gmail account. Um, I've upgraded my Gmail to the one of the Google One products, and it came with the AI product. So I get Gemini Pro, which has been pretty good. Are you using any AI tools, Minnie or Kevin? I like using the AI tools for. Gotcha, Minnie. Just free tools for now. I had to buy larger storage because I'm saving a lot of the video recordings that I do. I don't know why, but I've been saving a lot of the original footage in case later on I want to do something better with the historical documentation that I've done to show the progression towards the the larger portfolio. So buying a larger storage comes with free Google Gemini Pro. Oh, external drives. Gotcha. That'll work. Kevin, I use some AI tools for evaluating my ideas. I don't have anybody to bounce off ideas really with respect to investing, so I discuss it with AI sometimes, and it's been handy. prevented me from doing some silly things, I think. And sometimes told me that what I've done has been boneheaded, which, you know, I have a 500 gig external drive that I use for some video backups as well. Minnie says, but AI does make mistakes. You're not kidding. Many times I'm telling it not to change my words. Yeah, it likes to correct everything, doesn't it? AI's been pretty decent at interpreting my portfolio and making recommendations about how to tweak it as an aggressive RDSP investor. But I take everything it says with a grain of salt because it doesn't know everything, and it doesn't know my risk tolerance, and it doesn't know, it doesn't know me. It thinks it does from the conversations that I've had with it, but AI is not perfect. It is a pretty handy tool, though. I've been wanting to try Claude for for looking at my investments. I just haven't gotten there yet. I have um, I don't know, a reluctance to use OpenAI, ChatGPT. I don't know where it comes from. I just prefer Gemini or Claude. Kevin says I buy options leaps on SPY. QQQ. Then I buy what I like to use. Yeah, I do the same. Microsoft, things like that. I would like to use the space. I'm going to use AST Space Mobile when it's up. Um, it's part of Bell's network, so I'm going to access it whether I want to or not when I'm out walking the dogs in the forest. I think SPY and QQQ are a lot more certain. Um, I should probably switch to buying leaps that way too. Minnie says, have you used the RDSP investment calculator? No, I haven't. Um, let's see. Let's see if I can bring it up. Let's see, I've brought it up on screen so anybody can see it. I'm just going to share the screen. Minnie says, yes, sir. Got my RDSP first year funded. I'll receive the grant in 30 days. Right on, Michelle. Congratulations. Congratulations, Michelle. Minnie says an advisor showed it to me. He did the work. Yeah, getting that disability tax credit and getting the RDSP open is half the battle. Now let's see. Annual contribution. With the RDSP, let's say you only contributed the full value of the disability tax credit or the Canada Disability Benefit, which is $200 a month. So if you only contributed $3,600 a year, contribute until 49. Investment strategy before withdrawals. Begin moderate. I'm aggressive. All right, so 7%. Investment strategy after withdrawals begin. Yeah, I'd probably switch to more conservative. Will there be any lump sum contributions? Let's say no. Withdrawal options. Ideal age, 60. Will there be any lump sum withdrawals? Let's say no. Calculate. Maybe it's because of my color. It's not working. Oh, I have to fill out the top of it. Okay, thank you. Current age of the beneficiary. All right. So let's say that I started at 34. You are an individual. Net income. Well, as a person on ODSP, that's what, about 17,000 a year, let's say. Qualified for the disability tax credit. Yes. You have to be. All right. All right. So average LDAP payment will be $30,000 a year. Based on that, interesting. Total lifetime disability payments will be $691,000 for contributing $3,600 a year from the time you're 18 to 49. Not bad. Or 34 to 49. Wow. This is pretty cool. Thanks, Minnie. So let's see the chart. Very cool. And this assumes that you only contribute the amount of your Canada Disability Benefit. Annual contribution. Oh, this is wrong. That's why it's looking so good. Annual contribution is $3,600. There is a table. It is here, Finley. So total annual contributions, $57,000 in that period of time. Annual grants before age 18, 0. Annual grants until age 49, maybe $56,000. Annual bond before 18 and after 16,000. So $72,000 in grants and bonds. Interesting. Value of your RDSP. Investment gains while contributing. Very cool stuff. So starting year at 34 years old, let's say you're starting late like I did. I was 34 when I started. And I contribute $3,600. And I get the $3,500 grant and $1,000 bond because I'm low income. I end up with $8,600 in the account. Not bad. And it shows the growth over time. By age 60, you're not contributing anything anymore. And the value of your account will be $489,000. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Apparently there's a spot in it I can enter the current value. I'll change these values so that it actually is more reflective of where we're at right now. So my age right now is 46. The year it was established was 2014. Looking to enter the current balance of my portfolio. I guess I could start with a lump sum. Annual contribution is where you entered the current value. Okay, I'll try entering my current value as a lump sum. Will there be any lump sum contributions? Well, we'll say yes, and the contribution is 200,000, which would be the maximum that I'd be allowed to contribute at age 46. This is interesting. Got to go Mexican food. All right. Take care. Talk to you later, Kevin. Hope your knee gets better. This is some pretty cool stuff. So by age 60, I should have $1,020,000 in the account. I guess I can live on that. Minnie says you have 2026 as the year you qualified for RDSP. That might make changes. Let's see. You're qualified for disability tax credit was 2014. Annual contribution is $3,600, but that only started recently. Come here, bud. I gotta let my dog out of the room. Come on, buddy. Come on, Finn. It's okay, bud. Let's see. All right, I've made those changes. Contribution, it was a lump sum of maximum. This isn't quite right, but let's change this. I see. Minnie says you have 2026 as your year you qualified for RDSP. Yeah, I've corrected that. Annual contribution, total value of your RDSP rate to get the math growth. For educational purposes, I follow along with you. Minnie says annual contribution, your current value, then 0 lump sum. All right. Let's try that. Let's say I stopped contributing. Let's say I stopped contributing and just had the lump sum right now of the balance of my portfolio, which is $200,000 at age 46. Add. And there are no more contributions. Let's say I just stopped contributing, which would be silly, but I could do that. So from age 34, I would have received just the $1,000 bond. And then at in 2026, I would have got a 10,500 total. With all of those previous bond payments, I'd be at $246,000 in the account. And then another 13 years until age 60 would give me $619,000 if I stopped contributing today. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Thanks for showing me that, Minnie. So it's fun to play with numbers and see where we might end up. There's where my portfolio ended on Friday with the RDSP at 219. That was a pretty good day. Plan Institute. Interesting. Are they in the business of trying to sell qualification services for the disability tax credit? Do you know? Like, what does Plan Institute do? It'd be interesting to have one of them come along and help people through a conversation on Disabled Investor Channel. I don't know if they'd be interested in doing that, but I'd be interested in working together. I think we're on a similar mission. Minnie says Plan Institute is a charity that helps families mostly with disability life planning, and they have one financial advisor constantly doing webinars on the RDSP account. Ron Malice. They are the ones who made the world the weird proposal for an RDSP home buyer plan that I sent complaints. I got it. They have very little info for individuals. That's unfortunate. I guess, there's some assumptions that are made with this RDSP that I try to combat, which are that people who have RDSPs are somehow not competent, or intellectually disabled, or I don't know. But there seems to be an assumption that we're unable to handle our own affairs. I don't think that's what Plan Institute is assuming, but it is something that I have to combat. I mean, I think it was you that said that people who manage their own affairs are kind of like unicorns. You had to ask your CFP if you needed a letter to prove your own competency. Wow. Interesting. Was that a successful fight for you? Were you able to prove your case? Interesting. She says that Arch Disability Law have a website on it on proving your competency. That's good. It's important. Uh, Minnie says he mentioned it. I got paranoid, so I got legal advice. He advocated for me, but it got me cautious. Why? A lot to think about, isn't there? Because of proving our our capabilities of being investors. Yes. With disabilities. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of back to what I'm talking about is this assumption that just because we're disabled doesn't mean we can handle our own affairs. It's kind of ableism, isn't it? And it's unfortunate. We need better advocacy for sure. And just because we have a disability doesn't mean we can't manage our own money. I mean, I got proof of that. Just have to look at the portfolio. You're right, Minnie. We can become wealthy and millionaire. It's possible. It's possible. I'd be happy just to have enough money in the bank to have fewer worries. Um, I mean, I'm targeting $1 million. It's not the be all end all number, but it's. I mean, it's a milestone. Hitting $100,000 was, as Charlie Munger used to say, that's a bitch, and you got to do it. But we've passed that. Now it's time to worry about getting to the next milestone, which I think is 250. That's my goal for this year. Minnie says I want to get to 1 million and see what happens. Well, my understanding is that having money just means you have problems with money, but I'd sure as hell rather be rich with problems than poor with problems. Because it's easier to manage problems when you got a little bit of money, that's for sure. And you know, if you've got depression, having $1 million, you can still have depression. Um, that's for sure. But I'm with you. I want to see what happens when I surpass the $250,000 mark. That should happen with any luck later on this year. The current balance is healthy. Minnie says there's no cure for my disability, and ODSP does not cover many things to manage it. That's really not right. I mean, there are a lot of things that aren't right about ODSP, and I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I think we need a combination approach between universal basic income and universal basic services. But I'm kind of alone in that view right now. A lot of people think it stops at universal basic income, and I'm not one of them. I think throwing money at it without housing and food and healthcare doesn't solve the problem. I don't think I'm unique in that view. I take more of a Scandinavian view of how to manage poverty. I think the Norwegian approach has a lot to show us. Imagine if housing was a right and food and you know yes, Plan Institute is the best organization I know with understanding the disability tax credit RDSP and sometimes ODSP, but the ODSP webinar I was answering all their chat questions. Interesting. They should pay you. They should hire you. Something that worries me about the whole um, low honorariums, right? They don't want to, yeah, charities don't want to pay. I get it. They want to do their charitable work, and I respect them for needing to manage their money. But at the same time, I've heard of some executives with charities making $500,000 salaries. Um, it disgusts people when they hear about it, but it is what it is. So there's no reason that they can't pay a reasonable honorarium. That's right. I said it. But I don't know. What's a reasonable honorarium in your mind, Minnie? Minnie says, I would make more making my own organization and online course than a charity offering me an honorarium. I got you. I.e., my spreadsheet, 7 people. Congratulations, you sold your spreadsheet. Good for you. Minnie says she might offer a monthly membership and a webinar. Why not? I'm not there yet. I mean, I've passed the 500 subscriber threshold in order to get the first level of monetization by YouTube, but I still need to get the watch hours up, and that's challenging. I mean, I'm publishing basically a vlog of my journey to grow my registered disability savings plan from humble beginnings to $1 million, and right now I'm in the early part of the journey at $220,000, so there's ways to go. Minnie says the membership model is without YouTube. YouTube brings a community together. Huh. Interesting. So you're talking about selling a membership outside of YouTube. Gotcha. Why not? Hey, whatever works for you. I think the way out of poverty, in part, is to have a passion project, a side hustle, something. You know, we got to grow out of it. And I recognize it's not possible for everybody. So managing the low income is part of where I'm thinking there's an opportunity for me to help. Is I'm working on an app to help manage fixed income, like to manage the money that is limited without bringing in more money. Um, and if universal basic income becomes a thing, people are going to need help managing that. You know what I mean? Like when there's more month than money, you got to have some skills to manage it. My grandmother grew up in the dirty 30s depression, so we learned a lot of how to manage with little. Minnie says UBI coming might trigger clawbacks. It is hard to be excited about it. Yeah, I don't think UBI is a solution for disabled community. I think there are problems with UBI, especially if it means that everybody gets the same and people on disability stop getting the access to the healthcare, the prescriptions. Minnie says, i.e. my overpayments with ODSP from SERB. Ooh, that's brutal. ODSP and SERB, ooh, they don't play nice together, do they? ODSP did trigger the overpayment, but I got $2.50 to keep benefits. Ouch. That sucks. That really sucks. So what did you do that month? The $2.50 was how they didn't want to cut you off. Mm, ouch. Mm. At least we have rapid reinstatement if necessary, right? The income was SERB, $2,000 with $2.50 for health benefits from ODSP. Gotcha. So they counted that month your $2,000 as being your full income. Ouch. And did they penalize you with that the same month you got SERB, or did they claw back later on? 'Cause that always scares me, and that's what hurt me with my experience with the clawback was they didn't claw back until I was actually done my contract with an employer and was no longer working, and then clawed back in a month that I wasn't making any money. ODSP, it's the delayed reaction, the delayed action that hurts us. It's not, a living, breathing sort of thing. It's after the fact. Minnie says I got served for a few months and I had to verify everything CRA first before I told ODSP because I wanted to make sure SERB was real. Gotcha. Then ODSP got my info. They review all the documents. Then the next month it was $2.50. Oh, geez. Well, at least I hope you had SERB that month at least to get by. Would have been a very lean month otherwise. ODSP pay monthly. We had time to plan out the gap. Oh, that's good. That's good. The month that they hit me with the overpayment, they they made it a monthly repayment thing, but uh, it hit the ability for me to pay rent and pay for my car insurance that month and pay for everything that I had paid for. Plus, I was smoking cigarettes at the time, so that addiction takes precedence. Uh, so I had to figure out a way out of it, and I ended up drawing out of my RDSP to make that month, and taking out $2,000 that month ended up costing $8,000 in withdrawal, like total. Um, Stupid, I know, but you know, when you got an addiction, like tobacco, it's an addiction, and it kind of it's a monkey that rules your life when it's on your back. I think that's part of why I've been able to amass the uh, portfolio that I have. Is I don't have that burden anymore of smoking cigarettes, and I don't drive anymore. Unfortunately, I'd gladly drive and give up the $200 a month in insurance, but Now you got your TFSA. Future me wants to prepay rent, hydro, and insurance. I got you, Benny. There was a month I paid rent a month. Hmm. So you had to prepay so it would cover an ODSP mistake. Gotcha. That must have been very frustrating. So how do you manage to put money aside for your investments? I mean, um, is that from your business that you make enough to do that? Is it, when I was living on my own, right now I'm renting a room, but when I was living on my own in an apartment, I had a lot less money to contribute to my RDSP. I think I was contributing at that time nothing um, for several years. Just the uh, just the bond. Business income is invested. Gotcha. ODSP income covers basic living expenses. At least you're able to make it by on the ODSP. Now with the net 1,000, it is so much easier. I believe that. I mean, being able to make $1,000 before deductions, oh, it's so different today. When I was working, I was in the program when it was $200 a month was your what you were allowed to make before getting docked, and it ended up not being so great. It was a disincentive for working. But I wanted to work just to work, just to have something to do and to make some money and afford my addiction at the time. Minnie says ODSP has to calculate her net income to determine your deductions. Gotcha. Depends if they want annual or monthly. If it annual, I get all my ODSP the whole year. Oh, that's good. That's good. Be interested to hear how other people on ODSP manage their investments. Or, we have some American viewers who have a different program down there. I think it's called Able accounts. Um, I've had some viewers from Australia and UK who have tuned in from time to time and told me how things go for them. But ODSP is quite the beast, isn't it? I think if there was less stigma around needing ODSP, that would be better for everybody. Mm. Minnie says I can make this dragon tired and take a nap. It is a reference to Paper Bag Princess by Robert Munsch. Hmm. I don't remember that one. I remember the Robert Munsch book. It was a fart book, and it was banned. That was my favorite book. ODSP is the dragon. Yes, it is. We gotta, yeah, we gotta get out of this place. Gotta get out of this ODSP trap. It really is a trap, isn't it? Personally, I would love to see um, some more financial education for people on ODSP. I mean, there's got to be some financial literacy training. Yes, the book is online. I think it was banned for a while though. Um, I remember being in school as a kid and hearing that the Robert Munsch fart book had been banned, and uh, it was a funny book. It was, as I recall, the fart was so vile that yeah, I forget how it went, but it was funny. Of course, as a young boy, anything to do with farts is usually funny. Ah, Minnie says there is audiobook version online. Right on. I gotta check it out. Wow, I've been online for 2.5 hours. I should probably go do something else. But it's been nice talking to you, Minnie. We should really uh, set up another time to do a face-to-face live stream. I think that would be good. Now that YouTube allows collaboration, um, it's possible to stream it, I think, on both channels, or have it set up so that, both of us get credit for the effort. I don't know exactly how it works, but I saw when I uploaded a video recently that there's a section for collaboration, which which would be kind of cool. And I'd like to expand the channel to talk to other people as well who have experience with ODSP and RDSPs and investing and what have you. Um, and I'd love to hear from people around the world in other countries that are living with disabilities and investing as well. Because I know that there are people all over the world with similar problems. Minnie says it's a feature in StreamYard. I don't know if it's on the free account. I'll have to check it out. Or Restream. I think we used Restream when we did our live stream last summer. That's cool. I'm going to sign off, but it's been great catching up. We should exchange an email. Yes, Minnie, we could definitely do that. That would be good with OBS. Um, and share the stream. Oh, Jerry says, "What's your thoughts on Berkshire? Do you think it will outperform S&P 500?" That's interesting. Um, my brother is highly invested in Berkshire currently. I don't know what to tell you. I don't hold any myself, only because I try to replicate what I'm aware that they're into. Because I don't want the drag from you know from their management. But I don't know. I think they did pretty well last year. What do you think's going to happen with them this year, Jerry? Minnie says I have some Berkshire. It is inside a mutual fund, yes, but I don't look at my investment for 6 to 12 months. Well, that's another way of managing your portfolio is just to buy and ignore it. Jerry says I think they will do good for a few years, but the Buffett effect will slowly dwindle and diminish. Yeah, I think you're right. It's hard to replicate. Although Abel, I think, has done a pretty good job so far. Um, the doubling down on Google uh, Alphabet shares was interesting to me because I held 100 shares of Alphabet for a while before I did some research and determined that in my case holding Leaps was more capital efficient apparently than holding 100 shares. Um, but I got mixed feelings on giving up my shares. Minnie says I change a real estate fund for a different one that is performing better back in January. Are you restricted from changing your mutual funds at a certain interval, Minnie? I know some institutions don't let you change things very often. My particular bank broker allows me to trade as much as I want, and it's all included. It's all free. As long as you have more than a set amount in the brokerage, there's no charge for trades, except for options. They charge for options. But I think everybody charges for options. I do think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Berkshire going forward, though. Minnie says, I work with a CFP, so that is the we. Is this CFP, the Certified Financial Planner you're working with, are they fee based, or are they someone that you um, give the money to and they invest it for you? Jerry says, did I see Bill Ackman's new mini Berkshire? I heard something about that on Bloomberg the other day. Interested to hear more about it. Mini on Minnie says, like I wanted a fund with Hermes in it, but it was not available. Wasn't available for RDSP. That's interesting. Hermes, I mean, I can buy stock directly. My CFP makes a fee out of one fund. Okay, so it's a loaded fund. Global Discovery Fund, because there are not fees on many of my accounts like the RDSP. Good. Glad they're not charging on your RDSP. Jerry says he is charging like 2% annual fees. Too much for me. Yeah, I agree. 2% that's like old school mutual fund rates. Minnie says it's like $50 a quarter he gets. That's not bad. On the size of RDSP you've mentioned previously, that's not bad. I mean, if you're working with a professional, they got to get paid too. I got no qualms with that. But 2% gets rich on 100 grand. Paying somebody $2,000 a year. So I'm with Jerry that 2% for managing a mini Berkshire Hathaway fund seems a little rich. Hello. Hi. How do you feel about smells in here? I'm online. What? I'm online. That's one of the costs of living at home. Plus, he looks at my portfolio every day. I see it twice a year. If that's how you prefer to manage your portfolio, there's nothing wrong with that. I prefer to be a more hands-on. But it's not for everybody. Anyways, I better sign off. I think I'm needed, so I better go. But I gotcha, Minnie. Your business takes your full effort. Yep, that makes sense. It's what you got to do. Anyways, I'm going to sign off, and I will talk to you again next Saturday. I'm going to log in again at 1 p.m. next Saturday, and I'll be back. And Minnie, we should exchange emails and set up another time. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been great, and hope we all learned something from each other. And I'll be back next Saturday at 1 p.m. Talk to you then. And I'll be talking to you on Monday when I upload my next update. Thanks for watching, everybody.